Welcome back. Oh, it's been like 3 months, Kelly, since we've had any type of, audio issue, but it makes it fun. Thank you, Mike, for getting this show back on the air upstairs.
Thank you.
How are we doing? How's Treehouse Wildlife Center?
We are moving forward. We've got big things coming up. So lots of new enclosures. We have some new habitats. We've got big plans. So.
Well, and you guys keep really putting the work in, and we were talking about, when you first were on as the first got announced as your new title as executive director of Treehouse, and you went, I don't know, want to see what happens, but you have a great game plan and a lot of stuff that you guys are doing with the events, and I know that you're a part of so many around the community and really just raising awareness for all the great services you provide. And a great way to do that again is the spring baby shower. Now take me through this because this is cool. This is really cool.
Okay. Well, in order to get information out there about all of our wild babies that are being born right now. It is the season for wild baby season. A lot of people are doing some landscaping, cutting down trees, doing all of that work, and they're finding a lot of babies right now. So, and a lot of storms have been happening, so there are owls and squirrels being blown out of their nest habitats. So in order to help us get enough resources to take us through the months and months and months of raising babies, we host our spring baby shower, which is sort of the same concept of a human baby shower. You bring a gift. We do have a list of items that we could use, physical donations such as paper towels, laundry detergent, OxyClean, all of the kinds of things we're going to need to support us through the baby season. It is our most expensive time of the year. Taking care of babies, just like raising kids, is expensive. The only thing we don't have to do is pay for a college education. We feed them, we clean them, we provide medical treatment, we entertain them. So everything but the college. So our spring baby shower, we're going to have a lot of activities. Professor Longhair's magic show is going to be out again. He volunteers his time to come out and in support of us. So he does balloon animals. Absolutely love him. He has a line from the time he sets up his booth until the time we say, all right, everybody has to go home. He's got kids waiting in line for him. We've got a lot. We've opened it up. We're expanding it. We have a lot of vendors coming in this year as well. So we've invited a lot of our local vendors to come back with us. Some of our local vendors are even have commission sales in our gift shop now. So that is open if you are an artisan craft vendor, you make your own products. We do have a small section in our gift shop now for commission sales. So we can definitely answer phone calls about that. So we'll have a lot of activities. We'll have chalk for the kids, because we did get a donation to put sidewalks in a couple of years ago.
Right.
We'll have a lot of activities. We'll have some science tables set up. We'll have meet and greets with some of our education ambassadors. So lots going on that day.
Well, it's really cool. And I'm on TreehouseWildlifeCenter.com, and I am looking at this picture of the interim director. I'm just going to say director now because, interim only should last a couple of months. And it's with you managing an owl, and it looks like a pretty, kind of tense situation there. And, what I think is the big takeaway is, with all that, with especially what you just said with the storms. Saturday was kind of a doozy of one. It could have been a lot worse, but still was enough to, make us kind of take a step back in this house and take the smoking robe off and go sit in the basement and wait this out. And, with that, I didn't think of all the animals, all the birds getting displaced because trees are coming down or, any type of small animal, rodent, owl, any type of bird. How, during those storms, how do you guys kind of coordinate that to go, all right, where do we need to be? Did you guys wait for that, cleanup process to start after the storm? How does that look?
Luckily, we do have good communication with a lot of first responder and animal control organizations in the different municipalities. And we have finally kind of had more of the public know who we are rather than trying to search us out. So a lot of the times during cleanup, people will find animals. They'll go to Facebook, hey, I found the squirrel, and we've got people on Facebook who will just go call Treehouse.
That's nice.
Yeah, so we have a lot of people in the community who will start helping direct people who find an animal who don't know. A lot of people already know us. They'll call us. So we are very blessed that we have a transport network. So we have volunteers who have dedicated their time, their resources, their gas money to go out, help people rescue these animals and bring them to us. It doesn't always work because we don't have transporters everywhere.
Right.
And we have a huge area because we're the only federally licensed facility in the Metro East area. So about a 2.5, 3 hour surrounding of us, we're the only facility. So having that transport network really, really helps. But yeah, people call in, and sometimes we can make it out there. Sometimes we have to send our transporters. And a lot of times people just scoop up an animal and bring it in to us and say, hey, I found this animal. Can you save it? And we're like, well, we'll do what we can.
There's hope for humanity out there. And too, it just shows how great you guys have grown. I mean, really exponentially. And because what you guys do, I mean, the hardest part is getting the train moving because, you got to go all these different places and you're trying to find these animals. And now you're to a point where, all right, now we know who we're calling. And it's becoming a namesake. But also I wanted to get back to this spring baby shower. The event is on April the 22nd this weekend from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. right there at Treehouse Wildlife Center in Dow, right?
Correct.
Oh, I guessed. I guessed. If you guys haven't told, I'm not drinking energy drinks anymore. I'm really trying to cut them off, and so I'm back to water. It's only water. I have not woken up yet, so I'm trying, and I'm going, take some stabs, CJ, take some stabs. But, one thing I wanted to ask you is this is a really an event for everybody.
Correct.
It's one for, the adults to bring the kids to, and maybe, some grandparents getting out there and enjoying things. So you got free games, activities, crafts. Give me some of the free games because I'm nosy.
We'll put out Connect 4. We have a yard version of that. So we'll put out Connect 4. We have a little caterpillar thing that they can crawl through. We've got Yard Yahtzee. We've got a whole bunch of different yard games. We were very blessed to have received during COVID a grant to do community nights, which would then allow us to buy a lot of materials that we could use for a lot of different events. We're hoping to start our community nights again. Baby shower is really our first community event, and then the next few months we're hoping to get a community event going each month.
So for the folks that haven't been out to Treehouse yet, where are we at here in Dow? Because it's not that far, off, from me and Godfrey. I mean, it's actually a pretty short. Because when we think Dow, we go, oh, we're gonna have to drive. This really isn't that bad.
Yeah, we get that a lot. It's like, oh, Dow's really far out there, but when you drive across Alton, it's really the same distance.
Exactly. I'm telling you what, Kelly. When I worked over in St. Louis, I told people the hardest part of the drive was number one, staying alive on 270. The second hardest part was realizing that it took longer to get out of Alton than it did to drive to work,
Yes. So that does impact our volunteering. People think it's a long drive out there, but it's not really that. So we're only 15 minutes really from here. So we're off of, if you're on Route 3, like you're heading down to Grafton, then you just turn on to Cemetery Road, and we're just off of Green Acres Road. If you're coming up 100, we're just right behind the Village of Elsa. I mean, Village of Elsa is growing as well. So there's a lot of new craft vendors and a lot of new stores opening up there. They're, doing a lot of events, and Grafton's a great way to spend your day. So yeah, come out. You can multitask, head up to Pierre Marquette, and you can bring your lunch. We've got picnic areas. You can bring your lunch and make it a whole day trip.
I'm telling you what, that's a win right there. So with that being said, talking about the spring baby shower, if you guys are just tuning in, happening this weekend, a great event. I mean, it's going to be on from 10 a.m. to 4. A lot of fun, a lot of moving parts of this one. But take us through some of the, the babies that are coming along the way that are going to be gracing Treehouse's doors in mere, weeks, months.
Okay, so you probably are not going to get a chance to really
Right.
see many of the babies, but we do have a lot of squirrels and opossums you'll be able to see in our nursery window. So the opossums, a lot of people think they're just giant rats, but they're not. They're marsupials, so they're closer related to a kangaroo than they would be related to
Aren't
a rat.
they really smart too?
I don't know if they're really
Oh,
smart,
maybe
but they
that's a
just
raccoon.
kind of, raccoons
that's
sort
what
of
it
are in trouble. With the opossums, they just kind of wander around and eat and do their own thing. They don't really, they're kind of a benign animal. It's just when people get involved, or your dogs
Yep.
or cats, and then all of a sudden it turns into a big situation. They just kind of wander around and eat, but they eat everything you don't want in your house. Bugs, rats, mice, snakes, anything you don't want in your house, ticks, they will eat for you. So it's just best to let them alone, let them eat, wander off, and go on. So,
Pest
but
control.
they are very good. They're nature's garbage men.
I like it.
So with the babies, we have a great horned owl that has come in, a barred owl. We've got opossums and squirrels. We're still working on a turtle that was surrendered to us. It was a little juvenile turtle that we need to reestablish health maintenance with it. So it needs to get its diet straightened out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting more and more. I think we've gotten in a fox kit. We're working on trying to rehome that. The family was located, so we're working to rehome that. We've actually renested 2 other baby owls. So we're
Wow.
really trying to ramp up our renesting program. So I've got a volunteer who is an arborist. So he goes up in the trees. He has volunteered to do some tree work for us, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to get him trained to help renest. I've got to contact him if he is listening.
It's coming.
Yeah.
So now I got to ask you, great horned owls, are those pretty prominent in our area?
Yes. So
Are
that is
they?
one of the most prevalent animals, owls that we have. They're the most aggressive owl we have. So they're also the only known predator of our striped skunk. So they don't care. They just, they just go after it. So the difference between a barred owl and a great horned owl in our clinic is a great horned owl, a barred owl, you walk in, it's like, hey, you open the door, it's like, hey, and you reach in, it's like, hey, until you actually touch it. And then it's like, whoa, what are you doing? Great horned owl, as soon as you walk down the stairs, click on the light, it's on the cage going, bring it, I'm ready for you.
Really?
Yes, so they can be extremely aggressive.
Wow.
So, I mean, not all of them, and it depends on the level of their medical care at the time they come in. But they can they're a little bit more aggressive as far as the owls go. And they hunt everything, so.
Oh, so you got to keep your eye out too, I'm sure, and really interesting. Now take me through this renesting before we circle back to everything else. This seems like a pretty intricate process.
Right. So a lot of the times you have a nest and the parents will have 1 to 3 eggs. And then if they hatch, and then sometimes there's civil rivalry and one will get pushed out, or with the winds, we'll have storms blowing them out. So we can either try to find the original nest and then try to put it back in there. But if we realize the nest is not big enough to contain the owlets that are currently in there, or if the nest was destroyed or too high, our team can go out there with a ladder or a bucket if a farmer has a bucket or somebody has a bucket, like on a tractor. And then we can take like a laundry basket, and then we can weave some sticks and stuff in there, and then we can attach that to the tree, and the mom and dad owls will still continue to feed. Even if you have 2 nests, as the babies squawk, they will still continue to feed both sets of nests if you end up with 2. So, so the best thing to raise a wild baby is the parents in the wild. So we have a saying, put the bunny back. So we try to encourage everybody, if there's a possibility to reunite a baby animal with the parent, that's the best thing. I mean, because they're going to show them what they need to do to survive. Yep. A human trying to pretend to be an owl just doesn't always work. So, but we do have foster parents. So a lot of our permanent residents will work as foster parents, which will increase their survivability, the baby's survivability, when we return them to the wild. So they're getting some of the characteristics they need from an adult of their own species, rather than, somebody bringing tweezers in. So we've got to do a lot to make sure there's imprinting, there's habituation, you have to teach them a lot of their characteristics that they need, or, or their skills they need. So it's always best if we can reunite. So we've really been working on getting a lot of training and resources on doing more reuniting, if possible.
Well, now let me, because this is we talked about this before, but even then I'm still picking things up. It's just impressive to me that an animal can or a bird, whatever you have there, can be that foster parent or that guidance to really help rehabilitate that that animal you guys are trying to get back out in the wild. How does that work? Do you guys just find does it just depend on the the certain animal, or depends on the bird, the animal that you have in there?
Right. So we do have some that we know are solid foster parents. It just is a little bit of kind of like, whoa, I didn't lay an egg. I don't remember a girlfriend. So then all of a sudden you have a baby, and it's like, whoa. So it is maybe a couple hours, and then they're like, oh, and then they go right into it.
Okay.
So, but not all animals. So if we get an animal that's already imprinted or habituated, they're not likely to be, because they prefer people rather than their own species. That's why they're with us in our care. So a lot of these animals, we will bring them in. We'll keep them separated at first to make sure that they're not going to harm the babies. There are some animals that just immediately will kill other offspring.
Right.
So then it's a little bit of trial to make sure that they're going to work right, and monitoring. And then, we always have to be there in support, even if they are good foster parents, and make sure we're feeding them, giving the parent the food, and then the parent will tear it up and feed the little babies and stuff. Yeah. So not all of our animals are foster parents, but the ones that we have are a blessing. We had a fox a couple of years ago, Chuckles, who passed away. We had Channel 2 News came out and did a big TV segment on it. She helped us raise over 70 fox kits. So that was 70 fox kits that their chances of survivability were much more improved because they had a mama fox helping them. And then that also provides enrichment for the animals that are, they are in captivity. They can't care for themselves in the wild. A lot of them have injuries, so they're not going to be able to survive. So while their life in captivity, life in the wild is over, their sacrifice does help other animals going back to the wild. And it also is an educational opportunity to connect people to the natural world. So they come in, they learn a little bit more about these animals, they realize what beautiful animals they are, and hopefully they learn to make a change or two in their life to help nature.
Yeah. Well, and I just think it's incredible. And there's so many ins and outs. I mean, I could talk to you all day long about the things you guys are doing. And so let's circle back here, because you have a donation wish list. It's online. So if you guys, in the meantime, you're getting ready, you're going to the spring baby shower on April 22nd, head on over to TreehousewildlifeCenter.com, because you guys have a wish list right there for folks to, kind of pick through and see what they can contribute. And what I like about this is that, there's something for everybody's, affordability rate, because some are doing better than others, we know, but there's even for me or anyone younger that wants to go, well, what can I kind of contribute? There's things there like paper towels and different utility things that I wouldn't even have thought of going now. Duh, of course we need those. Take us through the list. So OxyClean, bungee cords and dried mealworms, I know what that's for, but what are some of the other things that you guys utilize for, these products like an OxyClean throughout the spring season?
OxyClean helps break down the opossum poop. So there's a lot of, we do about 40 loads of laundry a day during spring season. So yeah, it's an incredible amount of laundry. So you can only shove so much into a washing machine. And because of the heavy content of animal waste, we have to reduce a little bit on how much we shove in there. So we go through washing machines a lot, but the OxyClean helps to break that down so that the items will be much cleaner, so the waste will process through. And then we have like clipboards on there. You can go to Dollar Tree, get a clipboard for $1.25. Those are for our medical clinic, so they'll have each animal enclosure. So it's like a vet's office. We have all of these cages set up, so each one will have a clipboard. That's that's where the carabiners come on there. So we attach the clipboard to there so that we can chart their medical process and have all of the paperwork right there. And so we can follow the animal, make sure everything is being done, clean, fed, medication, whatever treatment they might need, any observations to make sure that we are staying on track on their care so they can get back to the wild. And yeah, there's just a lot of different things. Sometimes it's like, oh, I don't understand what they need it for. But these are the top items that we really, really specifically need to get through the baby season. And I do have to say, you're not required to bring something.
Right.
So we are open. This is kind of our give back to the community as well, but it is our physical donation drive of the year, but it's not required. So you don't have to be obligated to bring a donation.
Well, and that's what I think is really cool. You aren't throwing this in everyone's face and making us, oh, I got to bring this. No, just here's what we need, and we're opened up to you, but, we really need this to get through the spring. And I think it's interesting, just like seeing Pedialyte and how the correlation, talking baby shower, from, human baby to, and wild baby, in a way.
Yeah. So dehydration is still dehydration.
Right.
Everybody needs Pedialyte.
It's so cool, though. And I got to ask you, I'm sorry, guys. I buried the story. I should have started out with 40 loads of laundry a day is waiting for Kelly in mere weeks. Did you even want to do laundry by the time you guys get? How do you make it through?
No. Luckily, we have a really good group of volunteers. Yeah. So we have our volunteers. We've got a core group that stuck with us the entire way through COVID. They said nobody is stopping us. We're like, COVID is dangerous. COVID, and they're like, we're still coming in.
Right.
And we were like, thank God. So because we've got laundry. But yeah, so luckily we have a good core of volunteers and people who come in and do work days. A lot of times we just bring the dry laundry upstairs and we're like, fold. So we just set up tables and we say, can you fold laundry? And if you've never folded laundry, we're happy to teach you. So for all of those college kids going to school for the first time,
there you go.
Send them to us. We'll teach them how to do laundry.
40 loads of laundry. That is just incredible. Now, before I let you go, you guys have, when we talked last time, a lot of really great, programs and stuff that you were working on. I know one of them was trying to create a resource for veterans and, creating just different ways to utilize the great space you have over at Treehouse. How is all that developing? Is there a way that we can continue to help, spearhead things?
Well, we're... Another event we have going on is Walk for Wildlife with the Audubon. So that is May 6th. So that will be out, and we're going to be doing a kids who would like to participate in our trash bash. We're going to be doing a small trash bash, and they're going to get a nice little owl or eagle coin.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so we've got it going on with that. So that's an environmental project that we're doing. We are still trying to really figure out a way to get veterans to decide they would like to come in and work with us. So I've been working with a few groups on that, trying to get better ideas on how to develop some veteran programs and have veterans feel like they are welcome to come in to the center. And we're going to be doing summer camps. Our new education coordinator is setting up some summer camps. So those are online, I believe. We've got the community nights coming up. So a work day. If your business is interested in a day of play, sending your employees out, we always have one-day workshop or, one-day work days where you can come out and you wouldn't work directly with the animals, but we will have lots of opportunities for everything. Anything that you do is supplemental to ensure that we can continue our mission. So I've kind of figured it out, and I think anybody who comes in and volunteers 1 hour saves the staff member about 3.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's the hour that we would have been doing that task. It's the hour we backed up because we weren't doing the other task. And then the hour of trying to catch up on trying to figure out how to mediate that next hour. So it's, at the very least, it's 3 hours that they're saving us.
Wow. That's incredible. And one last thing I was going to ask you about, because you're always in the need for volunteers transporting the transporter training class the day after the spring baby shower from 4 to 5:30 p.m. If you could detail that for us. So make sure if you guys want to be a part of this great organization that really rehabilitates, and you guys really set the blueprint for what a a nonprofit, animal rescue and rehabilitation service and outreach program should be. Take us through this. So from 4 to 5:30 p.m., you guys could help learn how to do this, transport, and be a part of something bigger than ourselves.
Right. So with our transporters, these are people who have decided that they can't really come in on a weekly basis or even a monthly basis. They've got busy, everybody's busy.
Right.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to give them some training on different animal characteristics, different techniques, safety equipment, proper ways to go about safely rescuing an animal. We're going to give them a brief overview of our center, our mission, our history, all of that good stuff. So it's just to give them some skills and some comfort level if they're asked to go out. I mean, surprisingly, a blue heron is one of the most dangerous animals we work with.
I've heard that before. They are very aggressive.
Yeah. Well, it's they strike with their like a snake.
Oh.
So, that long spear can go right through your eye. So we have to, it's just knowing the animals and knowing what you need to do to safely do this. So our transporters save us probably hundreds, if not thousands of hours a year, plus the financial cost. If a volunteer is willing to go out and collect it and bring it back, that's money that we're not, gas money and other time and all that we've had to invest in a rescue. So, and then, like I said, our area is continuously expanding because a lot of the home rehabbers financially can no longer do it with inflation. It's expensive. And so our transporters, we just call them up and say, hey, are you available? If they're not available, we just move on to the next transporter and hope that we can get this animal rescued. And, like I said, a lot of people even are willing to box it up, but they may not have a car, or they may not be able to drive, or they, may have an appointment, or they may have been on their way to work. So our transporters can then just go and collect the animal, which is a whole lot easier for them. But if they do have to figure out how to actually box this animal up, we're hoping that this training will give them the confidence.
That's seriously so cool, and I'm really excited to see all the great developing programs and really get out there this weekend to say hi for the spring baby shower. I think that's going to be really cool. So one last time, if you could overview this event for us and fill us in on all the fun we're going to be having with Treehouse this weekend.
Okay, so Spring Baby Shower is a free event for our community. It is also our largest donation drive for physical items to help us get through the spring baby season, which will run through the end of September and even into October, November, as it did last year. So it kind of depends on the weather and the season. So we'll have activities and crafts and meet and greets, and Professor Longhair will be there. I'm hoping my food person is going to come. So we'll have craft vendors. So we've got a lot of craft vendors who are showing up. I know Dow on the Farm is planning on being there. They are our local honey. So the honey season is starting to kick off again. So I believe Dow on the Farm is going to be there. And so we're going to have a lot of things to do. We'll have the chalk. So we've got lots of sidewalks. Kids can draw on the sidewalk to their little heart's content. So, yeah.
It'll be a great event. And just like the event, you guys are great. And anytime you need to come on and talk about anything else you need to, you're more than welcome to. And really looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Really quick, before we take a quick break, got to take care of a little bit of business because we've been talking for 30 minutes about there's so much to talk about. I
could go on for 6 more hours.
Well, no kidding, and it shows just how passionate you and your volunteers and staff are, and anybody who's a part of Treehouse or ever stepped in your doors knows that. And another landmark where people step through the doors and know just how passionate they are is Alton Little Theater. Alton Little Theater has been around for 90 seasons of being a local theater company, which I think is just incredible. 90 years of being a landmark, 90 years of the best entertainers in our region coming in and, getting us to just escape for a couple of hours. And especially today, when we can need that a little bit more and more. Ooh la la, Alton Little Theater is producing the French farce Ding Dong, directed by Lee Cox, starring Kevin Frakes, and so many talented artists and local actors and actresses. The Perfect May Theater Bouquet, and the last performance, if you guys are going, CJ, how is this a May thing? Mother's Day. Perfect opportunity to take your mom and spend the day at a local landmark. Alton Little Theater presents Ding Dong. This French farce, I'm telling you guys, is one to take note of, because it's about 4 women who have great fun. They turn the tables on their many-timing lover, mistaken identities, secrets, Funny Alliances ensures that everyone ultimately has a very good time. Evenings on May 5th, 6th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and the 13th. And for the afternoon goers like me out there, matinees on the 7th and on that Mother's Day, the 14th of May. And Kelly, gotta ask you, season tickets to Alton Little Theater are right here, right now, where you can take your mom all year long. Talk about a great gift where you're supporting local and getting the mom outside the house with you guys, exploring and just enjoying the best of the 90th season of Alton Little Theater. For more information, altonlittletheater.org. That's altonlittletheater.org.